I'm NETSANET. I'm 28. I was born and raised in Addis.
My name is HAYMANOT. I'm 23 years old. I was born and raised in a city called Desi. It's 400 kilometers away from Addis.
My name is Luna Salamon. I'm from Addis, but I was born in Harar. It's a city outside of Addis. I'm 22 years old and I'm learning architecture. It's my 5th year now.
My name is MAHEDER. I'm 26 years old and I was born and raised in Addis Ababa.
My name is HILINA. I'm living in Addis Ababa. I'm 28 years old and I'm a photographer.
Being a woman for me is both a blessing and a curse. A blessing because only a woman can love without reservations, be compassionate and bear unbelievable amounts of pain, be it physical or emotional. And I say a curse because society as a whole, I think, has failed to recognize these and give credit to women. And I'm afraid gender stereotypes still exist, and that can be a challenge.
I really look up to my mother. She's a very strong and independent woman, and she's raised me by herself, and she's done so much to get me to where I am today, so I look up to her a
lot. To be a woman in this contemporary society is very challenging, because the society always expects men to do better, to achieve more, and to excel in their fields. But when a woman performs as well as a man, she doesn't get the credit she deserves. Women's stories are always told relative to men's stories, as if we cannot exist on our own. In the other side, the society expects women to be loving, nurturing, and caring, which is very good. But the sad reality here is that no one acknowledges us to do these things. It's almost like a duty. And also, women are tasked with so many exhausting duties, house duties, and that limits our potential and imagination to do things that we're passionate about. So being a woman is very challenging and it's very beautiful at the same time.
In my opinion, women in this contemporary society and their roles has greatly grown, in my opinion. I feel like compared to the ancient times where women were supposed to do things that were traditionally assigned to them and all that, I feel like now we women are free to do whatever we want and pursue our passions.
In this society, being a woman is that's good as a photographer. I'm working as a photographer and it's quite good, you know. Everybody, it's unique to photograph when you work and as a photographer. Just being a woman is not, I don't know, it's not a disease or something. I'm a human. I'm just walking around and taking a photo whatever I want. So.
As a woman photographer, I think women tend to empathize and are prone to details, which enables them to immerse themselves in any situation and community or anything they're trying to document and generate the most candid image.
A women photographer can tell the truth. She can capture untold stories of the societies, and she has a perspective of seeing unrealized potential of the society's daily challenges, and the community's shortcomings and the things in between. And she is a good storyteller because she lives in these stories. She knows what the society wants to tell to the world in a better way. She can tell what they want to tell the world in a better way, because she is very close to the society.
And as a photographer and a woman, I think it's a great time for me to be pursuing my dreams, because I feel like there are so many women breaking out of their shells and trying to do whatever they can for their community. and I feel like it's a good time to be a woman now. In fact, I feel like it's a bit intimidating for men right now because we're doing everything that men are doing, I guess.
To be a woman photographer in Ethiopia, specifically in Addis Ababa, is nice. And I think it has also its pro part, and also it has also its own con part. The pro part of being a woman photographer here is people usually tend to trust women by far more better than male photographers. And also women photographers are by far easier to approach than male photographers, I think. The con part of being a female photographer is people usually consider us to be both physically and psychologically weak, so they usually, not all of them actually, but some of them usually try to take advantage of that. Other than that, it's really nice, and I think it even makes me happy to be able to represent the part of the society that's underrepresented.
As a photographer, women bring a certain sensitivity and emotion and love to everything they do. So being a photographer and having that perspective is different from how men would see it. So as a photographer and a woman, I think it's a great plus.
As a woman, no, it's not. It's not hard. It's about the emotion, feeling, and to show the other people what you see. So being a woman, it's not hard, and in this society, it's very unique. And oh, she's a photographer. They're accepting.
A woman has a very profound level of empathy to feel and to connect the society's struggle, their daily activities and celebrations, and the little moments in between. So she can tell the stories of the society in a better way than men.
Well, my targets and dreams as a photographer basically is because photography has been a journey of self-exploration for me. I've made real human connections along the way. Therefore, I expect to generate images of hope and positivity and similarities rather than differences. I mean, things that are common to us all and things that make us human.
My interest would be, I like showing, like, I don't like people that have, not like, and I feel like people have the wrong perspective about my country. So as a photographer, I think I could use that to have people see the good side of our community and country. And my mission, I think, my interest, I like traveling, capturing different cultures, different people, different perspectives. So that's what I like to do.
Okay, I want to use my photography to share images and stories of Ethiopia with the rest of the world, and I want to use it as a way to find my own voice and expressions. Photography for me is a medium to illustrate my way of looking at the world. And my dream is to help young people to get their passion, because that was a major problem that I used to face. And I want to create a platform where they can try different things like photography, painting, music, and many more things, so they can figure out what they're passionate about. And it makes it very easy for them to achieve what they want to achieve in their life.
Well, I'm interested in generating images that enable the audience to see what I see through my camera, but still leave them wondering, basically. I tend to gravitate towards portraiture and close-up images that somehow reveal details about the subjects I choose. That's my whole approach to photography as a whole.
Most of the time, my targets and ideas of photography revolve around documenting changes in Addis Ababa because there is an advancing infrastructure and things are changing really fast. And it also involves giving voice to the voiceless and also telling stories that can bring some kind of change and influence the society somehow.
I want to show the power of photography just outside of documenting special events, weddings, and things like that. It has to be more powerful, and we have to use photography to document and to show what 21st century looked like for the future generation, because we only have limited collection of images from the past times, and we don't have to repeat this mistake.
Basically, for me, photography is never about it. This is something I always say. It's never about the camera or the lens or the technology. I mean, technology as a whole lacks emotions. So my mission as a photographer is to bring in that emotional component to technology and basically capture humanity in a sense, one frame at a time, maybe.
My dreams, a lot of photos tell the story, to keep the documenting photography to generation to the generations, show the other people what look like in Ethiopia, what's happening in Addis. So I want to show them what exactly right now in Addis and what happening in Addis. So I'm just it's quite nice to show the other outside the world.
Yeah. So the role of an artist in this era can be basically generating works that can influence humans at a deeper level. It can be simply to inform, or it can extend into influencing thoughts. So that can be one role of an artist in this era.
You know, since we don't have enough art spaces here in Ethiopia, I want to have an art space where young artists, young photographer can come and get trainings, different workshops that can help them to be a photographer they want to be.
Being an artist in my community, I think it's a way for me to have a voice and speak to women and everyone in general, and to be an inspiration, I guess. So as to have a better community and to grow in a certain way, I think.
Art, specifically photography, has been extremely powerful with years. So I think an artist must have, with that kind of power, of course, comes a responsibility. So an artist must have some kind of role in pushing the world to the right direction, and also creating some balance between societies and countries, and also influencing people or telling stories and letting people understand stories that are otherwise complicated in a way.
In this society, this you know, I want to be I want to see or exhibitions. There's a lot of capacity in here in Addis Ababa. It's a lot of young photographers collaborate and or working together. That's I really want to show them and to collaborate and to show the galleries and then so on. That's my mission.
I want to introduce Ethiopian photography and Ethiopian art to the global markets, because I think we're not as connected as we want to the global art scene. And as an artist, our role has to be introducing Ethiopian art to the global market. We have to be connected with the global art scene.
So basically, the new work I'm doing is photographic interpretation of a mental health disorder, depression. So as a pharmacologist, this interests me because I have an interest in mental health research, and I want to spread awareness about this condition, and this series of images I hope will convey or portray the range of emotional disarray that goes on in the mind of depressed individuals. So
When I work on a new project, I'm always eager to get it started because I see it as an opportunity for a new way of doing it. So I look at different research, I talk to different people, and I prepare myself for a new work, and I plan for it. And I'm very flexible to work with people and to work with new ideas, so that can help me to do what I want to do.
I'm not inspired. I'm just see everywhere I walk, everywhere I go into in the city. You know, I'm digging new things and searching something new project. If it is good, if it is for me, it's beautiful, it's good, or whatever I exactly want. So I just took a picture and I just start working, and that's all. I didn't. It's just a project, so I just do it, and I didn't under the projects. You know, I'm always trying to something to take a picture and photography. Just.
And you work, first I want to understand what I'm going to do. And most people would say you need to approach your subject and connect with them in a way. And I feel like moments that are not expected, things that happen without people having to stage them and all that, I think that's how I would start my work. But artistically, I think staged and moments that start with subjects, communicating with the subjects and all that can work too.
I'm specifically interested in documentary photography right now, but I am also trying to explore the world of fine art and maybe, yeah.
As an artist, experimenting new things, trying to new things that other people see perspective there, seeing the different way, presenting the different way. I'm still, you know, in the beginning, I'm starting photography series and documenting and black and white photographies. So I'm just experimenting the other way. It can be social things and any other activity. You know, experimenting is really important for me.
What I think about Telson project, basically, yeah. So I think it's a perfect platform to bring together different artists from different backgrounds, and it's a good platform to have to challenge yourself, artistically speaking, and grow from it as a result. That's my view about the project. So.
Telson is a very good platform that challenges me to explore storytelling. It shows me the power of photography in art extends beyond taking pictures for fun and for special events. It allows me to get into global art paths where I get to reflect on my ideas, my concepts and theme.
The project, I think it's a great way for us to have integration. I've never been to Venice, and I feel like my work being displayed there can have a sort of integration between people there and here. And I want to promote the positive, like I said, the positive perspective that people have about my country, promote that more. And I think this project is a great way to do that. So I have great expectations about the project.
So distance, in this context, I already told you I'm working on depression. I'll be working on depression and related mental health disorders. So distance in this sense or in this context, it becomes that sense of detachment and isolation the person has to face, either from oneself or from the environment, and sometimes in severe cases from reality. So my hope is to convey this message through a series of images. So the other thing is, I mean, even scientifically speaking, a person has to bear a load or stress or different types of atrocities before actually developing the condition, or at least that's one of the theories of how depression progresses. So distance in this sense becomes more both a cause and an effect to depression. So that's what I hope to do, or what I hope to convey. So it's going to be a series of portraits and detailed shots mixed with long exposure pictures with different colors and textures to convey or to get the message across.
I'm thinking about something is under this project. I'm thinking about something distance. For me, distance is somebody, for example, somebody working long way from other country or this country. He think, maybe they think about this country, maybe this. I don't know. I just express feelings about the distance. It's just I'm starting work in this project. I have a team. That's maybe I can show you that I can see the people what mean to me in the distance. I think if I'm talking about the distance, it's hard for me. I can show the photograph, and that's, I think it's better.
Distance for me is it's not linear. It's very complex. It's very dynamic, and it's unpredictable. Distance for me, it's all about the gap between good and bad, utopia and dystopia, evil and purity, old and new, order and disorder. But when we talk about this project, I will be focusing on time distance. For me, there are things that time distance changes, like fashion, trends, our taste, our lifestyle. However, there are things that time change keeps constant, like trends, the things that we give value, grows, love and peace, and many more things. So I'm gonna work on time distance.
Okay, distance is a very complicated and broad subject. So for this project, I had so many different ideas that are both on personal level and also that involves some other people or at a national level. For this particular project, I chose the theme distance in a way that it can represent Ethiopia in general. So for Ethiopians, long distance running specifically and has been a major dream for many young generations of Ethiopians. So I think representing that part of the society and the children that looks up to these runners, athletes, I think is important in this particular project.
So distance for me would be, I was thinking about it, and I've been thinking about this for a while. I feel like distance is described as a generational gap. I feel like there's a time lost between us and the generation before us, and that's going to continue unless we see what's been missing throughout the time, the time lost. That's how I define distance. So to show that in ways, in different ways, like what the society wants me to do, what my forefathers want me to do, and the things I want to do, and how those things collide together. So that's how I define a distance.
It's the distance between me and my works, my photographs, and also there's the distance between me and my subjects when I am actually on site photographing. And another concept, distance can be the everyday distance that I have to travel from home to work or from home to different other locations in Addis Ababa as well as in Ethiopia.
Happening every Sunday when you go to there, there's a market around the road. It's open market. There's a lot of kind of market in here in Addis. One is in the Mercato. Everybody knows about Mercato, but not in the Mercato. Every tourist go to there and took a picture. Why do we think about the other markets? I'm just choosing that place. That place for me is a memory because I was there for a long time. And why do I take a picture of this movement, this beautiful the movement in this attracts me. It's a night shoot, but it's challenging me. But I love this kind of artistic angle here, the way they're closing, and also after they finish the market and at the night they cleaning. After the cleaning, there's a dust projected when the light come back. After they back, the projected their shadow. It makes me sense. It's an artistic angle. So maybe I want to do it in the depth, and I hopefully everybody laughed at my work.
Venice, the stories and the image that you see, they exist. They're moments, they're realities, they're captured, and they're reflections, and they represent art's highest value of connecting human stories. They're showing you the life of people who are living in different areas, who are separated from you in geography and time, yet connected in its essence and in its humanity.
I guess it's staging the frames I want to do and the message I want to show the people. How I define distance is a common definition. I'm sure anyone there here would define it the same way, so I feel like people can relate to it. So I would say it's something they should consider too and try to fill in the gaps, the time lost that I would define it. So that would be my message. And
I just want to say thank you for coming. I'm happy that we are, even though we live in very different countries, we are able to connect and communicate through photography and through this particular project.
I have a message for a young photographer that do whatever you want to do. Nobody is good or bad, so nobody wipe your things to take a picture. Go work. If you want to take a picture of the city, do it. If you take a picture of story, do it. Just about your feelings. So that's my message to younger photographers.
My message for the people in Venice, ciao a tutti. Thank you for coming and enjoy the show.